The vast emptiness of space held countless wonders, but for the advanced races of the galaxy, it also held one great disappointment: humans. These peculiar beings from the small blue planet called Earth had a less than stellar reputation among the stars. They were known as the cowards of the cosmos, the scaredy cats of space. It wasn't that humans were hated. No, the other aliens found them somewhat amusing, like a pet that was afraid of its own shadow. The problem was that humans were just so careful. In a galaxy full of bold explorers and risk-takers, the Earthlings stood out like a sore thumb. Zax, a blue-skinned alien from the planet Orcs, often told the story of humanity's first contact with his people. They came in their little ship, all wrapped up in protective suits. He would say, waving his 4 arms for emphasis, "We invited them to breathe our air, but they insisted on testing it first." Can you believe it? Testing air. The gathered aliens would always laugh at this part. It seemed absurd to them. Why test perfectly good air? But that was just the start. Humans insisted on quarantine procedures, endless scientific studies, and careful diplomatic negotiations before they would even consider stepping foot on a new world. While other races zipped across the galaxy, terraformed planets, and built massive space stations, humans crept along at a snail's pace. They're still mostly on their home planet. Gloop, a blob-like being from Squish 7, would often point out. They have a few colonies on their moon, and the red planet next door, but that's it. Can you imagine? Centuries of space travel, and they've barely left their front yard. This cautious approach extended to every aspect of human space activity. Their ships were built like fortresses, with multiple backup systems and safety features that other races found excessive. Human spacesuits could survive conditions that would never naturally occur, just in case. The galactic community had a saying: if you want something done fast, ask anyone. If you want it done slowly and carefully, ask a human. But the humans didn't seem to mind their reputation. They continued their meticulous exploration of space, content with their slow but steady progress. They made friends among the stars, even if those friends sometimes rolled their eyes, or equivalent sensory organs, at human behavior. Then came the day when everything changed. It started as a whisper. A rumor passed from one corner of the galaxy to another. Something was wrong. Very wrong. Lerna, a crystal being from the core worlds, was the first to bring concrete news to the Galactic Council. Her usually shimmering form was dull with worry as she spoke. "We've detected a massive disturbance in the fabric of space-time," she said, her voice resonating through the council chamber. "It's like nothing we've ever seen before. Our scientists believe it could tear the galaxy apart." The council erupted in chaos. Questions flew from every direction. What was this disturbance? Where did it come from? How long did they have? As the panic spread, more reports came in. Whole solar systems were vanishing, swallowed by an ever-expanding anomaly that defied the laws of physics as they knew them. The most advanced races in the galaxy threw everything they had at the problem, but nothing seemed to work. In all the commotion, no one noticed the human representative quietly taking notes and sending messages back to Earth. No one paid attention when the humans requested more data, asked for time to study the problem. After all, what could the cowards of the cosmos possibly do in this crisis? But on Earth, in underground bunkers and secret labs, human scientists were hard at work. They had been preparing for catastrophes, both natural and unnatural, for centuries. While other races saw their caution as cowardice, humans saw it as being prepared for anything. As the galaxy descended into fear and chaos, a small team of human scientists made a breakthrough. They had a plan. A dangerous, risky plan that went against their cautious nature, but a plan nonetheless. The human representative stood up in the Galactic Council, cleared his throat, and said words that would change the course of history. "We may have a solution." All eyes, tentacles, and sensory appendages turned to the human. For the first time, the cowards of the cosmos had the full attention of the galaxy. The stage was set for an unexpected turn of events that would challenge everything the galactic community thought they knew about humanity. The Galactic Council chamber fell silent as the human representative, Dr. Sarah Chen, stepped forward. Her small stature seemed even tinier among the diverse alien races, but her voice rang clear and strong. "The threat we face is unlike anything we've encountered before," Dr. Chen began, her words echoing in the vast hall. "Our scientists have named it the Void Eater. It's not just destroying solar systems, it's erasing them from existence." Gasps and murmurs rippled through the assembly. The Arcturian delegate, a being of pure energy, pulsed with alarm. "How is this possible?" it asked, its voice a melody of concern. Dr. Chen activated a holographic display. A swirling mass of darkness appeared, stars blinking out as they touched its edges. "The Void Eater seems to be a tear in the fabric of reality itself. It's growing, and at its current rate, it will consume the entire galaxy in less than a standard year." Panic erupted in the chamber. The Zorgax representative, a towering insectoid, clicked its mandibles furiously. "What can be done? Our greatest minds have found no solution." "We have a plan," Dr. Chen said, her calm voice cutting through the chaos. "But it's risky, and we'll need the help of every race here." The alien delegates exchanged looks of surprise. The humans, asking for help. This was new. Dr. Chen continued, "We propose to create a device that can seal the tear. We're calling it the Reality Anchor. It will require materials from 100 different worlds and energy sources beyond anything we've used before." She paused, looking around the room, "and it will need a team to deliver it to the heart of the Void Eater." Silence fell again, heavier this time. Enter the Void Eater. It seemed like madness. The Volok's Emperor, a gelatinous being, oozed forward. "You speak of delivering this device. How? No ship can approach the anomaly without being destroyed." Dr. Chen nodded. "That's true of our current ships, but we've designed a new vessel, one that can withstand the forces at the edge of the Void Eater. We call it the Adamant." The hologram changed, showing a sleek ship unlike anything the Council had seen before. Its hull gleamed with an odd, shifting pattern. "The Adamant's hull is made of a new material we've developed," Dr. Chen explained. "It can adapt to extreme conditions, even the reality warping effects of the Void Eater." Murmurs of interest rippled through the crowd. Even the most advanced races were intrigued by this technology. The Plix ambassador, a being of living crystal, chimed in. "This plan, it seems, reckless, dangerously so. Is this truly coming from the humans?" Dr. Chen smiled slightly. "We understand your surprise. But sometimes, the greatest courage is knowing when to take a calculated risk. We've spent centuries preparing for the unknown. Now, faced with the ultimate threat, we're ready to put everything on the line." The council chamber buzzed with discussion. The human plan was bold, perhaps even crazy. But as the reality of the situation sank in, many began to see it as their only hope. The Arcturian delegate floated forward. "You have our support. Our energy matrices are at your disposal." One by one, other races pledged their help. The Zorgax offered their strongest alloys. The Volok's promised their gravity manipulation technology. Even the Plix, despite their doubts, agreed to provide their crystal tech for the Reality Anchor. As the meeting adjourned, Dr. Chen found herself surrounded by alien delegates, all eager to discuss the details of the plan. For the first time, humans were seen not as cowards, but as leaders. Back on Earth, preparations were already underway. In hidden facilities around the globe, the best and brightest of humanity worked tirelessly. The Adamant began to take shape in a secret orbital shipyard, its revolutionary hull gleaming in the starlight. A team of astronauts, scientists, and engineers was assembled for the mission. They trained day and night, preparing for challenges they could scarcely imagine. The fate of the galaxy rested on their shoulders. As news of the plan spread, humans around the world held their breath. For so long, they had been the cautious ones, the careful explorers of the cosmic frontier. Now, they were about to attempt the most daring mission in the history of the galaxy. The Void Eater continued to grow, swallowing stars and planets in its insatiable maw. But for the first time since the crisis began, there was hope. A slim hope balanced on the edge of a razor, but hope nonetheless. And it had come from the most unexpected source: the cowards of the cosmos, who had finally found their moment to shine. As the Adamant took shape in Earth's orbit, the galaxy watched with a mixture of hope and skepticism. The ship's construction was a marvel, combining technologies from 100 worlds with humanity's unique innovations. Captain Maya Rodriguez stood on the observation deck of the orbital station, watching as the final touches were added to the Adamant. Her dark eyes reflected the gleam of the ship's adaptive hull. At 35, she was the youngest captain ever chosen for such a crucial mission, but her record was unmatched. "Impressive, isn't it?" a voice said behind her. Dr. Zara Patel, the mission's chief scientist, joined Maya at the window. "Who would have thought we'd be the ones leading the charge to save the galaxy?" Maya nodded, a small smile on her face. "Times change, Doc. Now we just have to prove we're up to the task." Down on Earth, in a hidden facility deep beneath the Atacama Desert, the reality anchor was nearing completion. It was a strange device, a sphere of swirling energy contained within a framework of exotic materials. Dr. Chen supervised its construction, her face etched with concentration. "Power levels are stable," one of the technicians reported. "We're ready for the final calibration." Dr. Chen nodded. "Proceed." The reality anchor hummed to life, its core pulsing with a light that seemed to bend the very air around it. In that moment, the hopes of an entire galaxy rested on this human-made device. As preparations on Earth reached their final stages, the situation in space grew dire. The Void Eater had devoured 3 more star systems, its hunger seemingly insatiable. Refugee ships from affected areas crowded the safe zones, bringing tales of horror and desperation. On the Galactic Council Station, alien representatives argued over evacuation plans and resource allocation. The human plan was their last hope, but many still doubted it would succeed. Glix, a Zorgax diplomat, chittered nervously to his colleagues. "The humans are brave, I'll give them that. But bravery alone won't seal a tear in reality." His words were interrupted by an alert. The station's long-range sensors had detected something new. The Void Eater, the sensor operator, a multi-eyed Vexillian, announced, "It's changing, growing faster." Panic rippled through the station. The countdown to galactic apocalypse had just accelerated. Back on Earth, the news hit like a thunderbolt. The mission, originally scheduled for launch in a week, now had to depart immediately. Captain Rodriguez received the call in the middle of the simulation. "Maya," Dr. Chen's voice crackled over the comm, "we're out of time. The Adamant needs to launch now." Maya's heart raced, but her voice remained steady. "Understood. We're ready." What followed was a whirlwind of activity. The crew of the Adamant, a mix of humans and alien specialists, scrambled to their positions. The reality anchor was carefully loaded into the ship's specially designed hold. As Maya strapped herself into the captain's chair, she looked around at her crew. Dr. Patel was running last-minute checks on the anchor. Crix, their Arcturian navigator, pulsed with nervous energy. Sergeant Leo Kim, head of security, double-checked the weapons systems, though everyone hoped they wouldn't be needed. "All systems green," the ship's AI announced. "Ready for launch." Maya took a deep breath. "Adamant to mission control. We are go for launch." Dr. Chen's voice came through, tinged with emotion. "Godspeed, Adamant. The galaxy is with you." With a roar that shook the very foundations of the launch facility, the Adamant lifted off. It rose through Earth's atmosphere, a streak of light against the darkening sky. As they broke free of Earth's gravity, Maya addressed her crew. "I know we're all scared. What we're about to do has never been done before. But remember, we're not just fighting for Earth now. We're fighting for every world, every being in this galaxy." She paused, looking at each of them. "We've been called cowards. Today, we prove them wrong. Today, we show the galaxy what humanity is truly capable of." The ship's engines flared, and the Adamant shot forward, streaking past the moon and out into deep space. Their destination, the heart of the Void Eater itself. As they accelerated to faster-than-light speeds, the stars blurred around them. Ahead lay the greatest challenge humanity had ever faced. The Adamant carried with it the hopes and fears of countless civilizations. The mission to save the galaxy had begun. And against all odds, it was the once ridiculed humans leading the charge into the unknown. The Adamant streaked through space, its revolutionary hull shimmering as it adapted to the increasing distortions caused by the Void Eater. Inside, the crew worked tirelessly, preparing for the challenges ahead. Captain Maya Rodriguez stood at the helm, her eyes fixed on the swirling mass of darkness that loomed larger with each passing moment. The Void Eater was a terrifying sight, a cosmic maelstrom that devoured light itself. "Status report," Maya called out, her voice steady despite the tension in the air. Dr. Zora Patel looked up from her console. "The reality anchor is stable, Captain. Power levels are holding." Crix, the Arcturian navigator, pulsed with a mix of blue and green lights. "Our course is true, but the gravitational anomalies are intensifying. I'm making constant adjustments." Sergeant Leo Kim chimed in from his security station. "Weapons and shields are at full capacity, though I hope we won't need them." Maya nodded, a grim smile on her face. "Let's hope not, Sergeant, but it's good to be prepared." As they approached the outer edges of the Void Eater's influence, the ship began to shudder. Strange lights danced across the view screen, and for a moment, it seemed as if reality itself was bending around them. "Hull integrity at 95% and holding," the ship's AI announced. "Adaptive systems are functioning within expected parameters." Dr. Patel frowned at her readings. "Captain, I'm detecting some unusual energy signatures. They don't match anything in our database." Before Maya could respond, a blinding flash of light erupted in front of the ship. When it faded, a massive structure hung in space before them, seemingly untouched by the Void Eater's pull. "By the stars," Crix whispered, his bioluminescence flickering with awe. "What is that?" The structure was unlike anything they had ever seen. It resembled a giant space station, but its design was alien even to the non-human members of the crew. Glowing lines crisscrossed its surface, pulsing with an otherworldly energy. "Scan it," Maya ordered, her mind racing with possibilities. As the Adamant sensors swept over the mysterious station, a beam of energy suddenly shot out, enveloping the ship in a soft, golden glow. "We're being pulled in," Crix exclaimed, his tentacles dancing over the controls. "I can't break free." Maya's hands tightened on her chair. "All hands, brace for possible impact. Leo, be ready with defensive measures, but don't fire unless I give the order." The Adamant was drawn inexorably towards the alien structure. As they neared, a massive doorway opened in its side, swallowing the ship whole. They found themselves in a cavernous hangar, illuminated by the same strange, pulsing lights they had seen outside. As the Adamant settled onto the deck, an eerie silence fell over the crew. "Life support is functioning normally," Dr. Petal reported, her voice hushed with wonder. "The atmosphere out there, it's breathable." Maya stood, her decision made. "Zara, Leo, you're with me. We need to find out what this place is, and if it can help us against the Void Eater. Crix, you have the con. Keep the reality anchor safe and be ready for a quick exit if needed." As the away team prepared to disembark, tension filled the air. They were about to step into the unknown, possibly the first beings to set foot in this mysterious station in eons. The airlock hissed open, and Maya led her team out onto the deck of the alien hangar. Their footsteps echoed in the vast space, the only sound aside from the low hum of energy that seemed to permeate everything. Suddenly, A holographic image flickered to life before them. It showed a being unlike any they had ever encountered, its form shifting and changing, as if it couldn't settle on a single shape. "Welcome, children of the younger races," a voice echoed in their minds. "We have waited long for your arrival." Maya stepped forward, her heart pounding but her voice steady. "Who are you? What is this place?" The hologram seemed to smile, though it was hard to tell with its constantly shifting features. "We are the Guardians, and this is the Nexus. We built it long ago, as a bastion against the very threat you now face." Dr. Patil gasped. "You know about the Void Eater?" "We know it well," the Guardian replied, "for it is our greatest mistake and our eternal burden. And now, brave humans, you may be our last hope for redemption." As the implications of these words sank in, Maya realized that their mission had just become far more complex than they could have ever imagined. The fate of the galaxy now rested not just on their shoulders, but on the secrets held within this ancient nexus. The Guardian's words hung in the air, heavy with the weight of cosmic history. Captain Maya Rodriguez, Dr. Zara Patel, and Sergeant Leo Kim exchanged glances, their minds reeling from the revelation. "Your mistake?" Maya asked, her voice echoing in the vast chamber. "Are you saying you created the Void Eater?" The holographic Guardian's form shimmered, its ever-changing features settling briefly into an expression of deep sorrow. "Not intentionally, young one. Eons ago, our civilization reached the pinnacle of scientific achievement. We sought to harness the very fabric of reality itself." As the Guardian spoke, the walls of the chamber came alive with swirling images, showing glimpses of an advanced civilization beyond human imagination. "Our experiments tore a hole in the universe," the Guardian continued. "What you call the Void Eater was born from that tear. We built the Nexus as a failsafe, a way to contain and eventually neutralize our creation. But we underestimated its power." Dr. Patel stepped forward, her scientific curiosity overriding her awe. "If you couldn't stop it, how can we hope to?" The Guardian's form shifted again, this time radiating a sense of hope. "Your reality anchor. It's crude by our standards, but its fundamental design, it's exactly what's needed. With our technology and your innovation, we might have a chance." Sergeant Kim, ever cautious, spoke up. "And we're just supposed to trust you. How do we know this isn't some kind of trap?" In response, the Guardian waved a ethereal hand. Suddenly, the team found themselves surrounded by a three-dimensional map of the galaxy. They watched in horror as entire solar systems blinked out of existence, consumed by the spreading darkness of the Void Eater. "We have no time for mistrust," the Guardian said solemnly. "Every moment we delay, more lives are lost." Maya made her decision. "What do you need us to do?" The next few hours were a blur of activity. The Adamant's crew worked alongside holographic projections of the Guardians, integrating their ancient technology with the reality anchor. The ship's hold became a workshop where impossible physics became reality. Dr. Patel's eyes were wide with wonder as she manipulated energy fields beyond her wildest dreams. "This is incredible," she breathed. "We're rewriting the laws of physics." Meanwhile, Crix and Leo worked on modifying the Adamant itself. The ship's adaptive hull was enhanced with Guardian tech, preparing it for the unimaginable stresses it would face in the heart of the Void Eater. As the work neared completion, Maya gathered her crew for a final briefing. The mood was tense but determined. "This is it," she said, looking each crew member in the eye. "What we're about to do goes beyond anything humanity, or any race in our galaxy, has ever attempted. The risks are enormous, but the stakes are even higher." She paused, letting her words sink in. "I won't lie to you. There's a good chance we won't survive this mission. But if we succeed, we'll save countless lives and civilizations. This is what we've prepared for all our lives, even if we didn't know it." The crew nodded solemnly. They had come too far to turn back now. As they made final preparations, the Guardian appeared once more. "We have guided many races over the eons. It said, "But never have we seen such courage in the face of the unknown. You humans truly are remarkable." Maya allowed herself a small smile. "We're just doing what needs to be done." The Guardian's form seemed to nod. "Then it is time. May the cosmos grant you strength." With a final check of systems, the crew of the Adamant returned to their stations. The enhanced ship hummed with power, the reality anchor pulsing at its heart. Maya took her place in the captain's chair, her voice steady as she gave the order. "Take us out." The Adamant glided out of the Nexus, its hull gleaming with newfound power. Ahead lay the swirling maw of the Void Eater, a darkness so complete it seemed to devour light itself. As they approached the edge of the anomaly, Maya felt a mix of fear and exhilaration. This was it, the moment that would define not just humanity, but the fate of the entire galaxy. "All hands," she called out, her voice carrying to every corner of the ship. "Brace for insertion. We're going in." With a flash of energy, the Adamant plunged into the heart of darkness, carrying with it the hopes of countless civilizations. The final battle against the Void Eater had begun. The Adamant pierced the outer layer of the Void Eater, and reality as the crew knew it ceased to exist. The ship's view screens filled with a kaleidoscope of impossible colors and shapes that twisted the mind. Alarms blared as the ship's systems struggled to make sense of their surroundings. Hull integrity at 80% and falling. Sergeant Kim shouted over the cacophony of sounds. "The Guardian tech is holding, but barely." Captain Maya gripped her chair, her knuckles white. "Crix, can you get a fix on our position?" The Arcturian's bioluminescence flickered erratically. "Negative, Captain. Traditional navigation is useless here. I'm relying on the Guardian's quantum positioning system, but it's fluctuating wildly." Dr. Patel's voice cut through the chaos. "The reality anchor is powering up, but the energy readings are off the charts. We need to get closer to the core." Maya made a split-second decision. "Crix, full power to engines. Take us deeper." The Adamant plunged further into the maelstrom. Outside, space and time seemed to fold in on themselves. Inside, the crew fought against forces that threatened to tear them apart at the atomic level. Suddenly, a massive tendril of void energy lashed out, striking the ship. The Adamant spun wildly, its crew thrown about like ragdolls. "Breach in engineering," the ship's AI announced, its usual calm voice tinged with urgency. "I'm on it." Leo unbuckled himself and rushed towards the engine room, fighting against the shifting gravity. Maya turned to Dr. Patel. "Zara, we need that anchor ready now." Zara's fingers flew over her console, her face a mask of concentration. "Almost there. The core is within range, but our targeting systems are offline." As if in response to their desperation, a familiar voice echoed in their minds. The Guardian, somehow reaching them even here. "Brave ones," it said, its voice strained. "We can guide your aim, but only for a moment. The power required, it may destroy us. You will have but one chance." Maya didn't hesitate. "Do it." A surge of energy flooded the ship's systems. For a brief instant, the swirling chaos outside resolved into a coherent image. At its center, a pulsing darkness that seemed to devour light itself, the heart of the Void Eater. "There," Zara shouted, targeting locked. "Fire the anchor," Maya commanded. With a sound that seemed to shake the very fabric of reality, the reality anchor launched from the Adamant. It streaked towards the core, trailing tendrils of energy that cut through the void. For a heart-stopping moment, nothing happened. Then, with a silent explosion that paradoxically deafened them all, the anchor made contact. The universe seemed to hold its breath. Then, slowly at first, but with gathering speed, the swirling chaos began to coalesce. The formless void took shape, condensing into a singularity at the anchor's point of impact. "It's working," Zara exclaimed, her voice filled with awe and disbelief. But their victory was far from assured. The ship groaned under the immense gravitational forces, systems failing one by one. "We need to get out of here," Crix cried, his tentacles working furiously at the controls. "The collapse is accelerating." Maya opened a ship-wide channel. "All hands, this is the captain. Brace for emergency warp jump." With the last reserves of its power, the Adamant's engines flared to life. The ship shot forward, riding the shockwave of the collapsing Void Eater. Time lost all meaning as they hurtled through space. The crew clung to their stations, their bodies pushed to the limit by forces beyond comprehension. Then, with a final, rattling shudder, the Adamant burst free of the Void Eater's influence. The view screens cleared, showing the blessed darkness of normal space, studded with stars. For a long moment, no one spoke. The only sound was the labored breathing of the crew and the creaking of the battered ship. Finally, Maya found her voice. "Status report," she croaked. One by one, the crew responded. They were alive, against all odds. The ship was damaged, but repairable. And behind them, where once the Void Eater had raged, "Captain," Crix said, his voice filled with wonder. "You need to see this." On the view screen, a new celestial body shimmered into existence. Where once there had been a force of pure destruction, now there was a newborn star, its light already bringing warmth to the surrounding space. As the crew of the Adamant watched in awe, Maya allowed herself a small smile. They had done it. Against all odds, the cowards of the cosmos had saved the galaxy. The Adamant limped through space, its once gleaming hull now scarred and battered. Inside, the crew worked tirelessly to repair critical systems and stabilize their course. Despite their exhaustion, a palpable sense of triumph filled the air. Captain Maya Rodriguez stood at the view screen, watching as the newborn star grew smaller in the distance. Its soft light seemed to pulse with promise, a beacon of hope in the vast darkness of space. "Captain," Crix called out, his bioluminescence glowing with excitement, "I've managed to establish contact with Galactic Central. They're calling us heroes." A cheer went up from the crew. After so long being seen as the cowards of the cosmos, the vindication was sweet. Dr. Zora Patel joined Maya at the view screen, her eyes shining with unshed tears. "We did it," she whispered. "We actually did it." Maya nodded, allowing herself a small smile. "We all did. Every species, every civilization that contributed." This was a victory for the entire galaxy. As the Adamant made its way back to known space, news of their success spread like wildfire. The ship's communication systems were flooded with messages from every corner of the galaxy. Congratulations, thanks, and expressions of awe poured in from countless worlds. Even the once skeptical races were effusive in their praise. The Zorgax, known for their reticence, sent a message that simply read, "Humanity has earned its place among the stars. We salute you." The journey back was slow, the ship's warp drive damaged beyond immediate repair. But as they traveled, the crew of the Adamant became aware of a startling change in the galaxy around them. Sergeant Leo Kim, monitoring long-range sensors, was the first to notice. "Captain, you're not going to believe this. The quantum entanglement network, it's expanding. Fast." Dr. Patel rushed to verify the readings. Her eyes widened in amazement. "It's the newborn star," she exclaimed. "Its unique energy signature is enhancing faster than light communications across the galaxy. We've accidentally created a galactic internet." The implications were staggering. Civilizations that had once been separated by vast distances could now communicate instantly. The potential for cultural exchange, scientific collaboration, and mutual understanding was unprecedented. As they neared the core worlds, the Adamant was met by a grand escort. Ships from every major civilization in the galaxy formed an honor guard, their lights blinking in salute as the battered human vessel passed. Finally, after what seemed like an eternity, Earth came into view. The blue marble hung in space, more beautiful than Maya had ever seen it. "Take us home, Crix," she said softly. As the Adamant entered Earth's orbit, the crew was stunned by the welcome that awaited them. The orbital stations were festooned with banners, and a veritable armada of ships from across the galaxy filled near-Earth space. The ship docked amid cheers and applause that they could hear even through the hull. As the airlock cycled open, Maya turned to her crew one last time. "Whatever happens next," she said, her voice thick with emotion, "remember this moment. Remember what we achieved together. We've changed the course of galactic history." They stepped out onto the station to a hero's welcome. Dignitaries from Earth stood alongside alien ambassadors, all eager to greet the crew that had saved the galaxy. Dr. Chen, her eyes glistening, embraced each crew member in turn. "You've done humanity proud," she said. "More than that, you've united the galaxy in a way we never thought possible." In the days that followed, as the crew of the Adamant shared their story with an eager galaxy, a new era dawned. Humanity, once dismissed as overly cautious, was now looked to for leadership. Their unique blend of caution and courage, of careful planning and bold action, had proven to be exactly what the galaxy needed. The Galactic Council, in a unanimous decision, invited Earth to take a permanent seat. The age of human isolation was over. They were now, truly, citizens of the cosmos. As for the crew of the Adamant, they became living legends. But for Maya, Zara, Leo, Crix, and the others, the greatest reward was the knowledge that they had made a difference. They had faced the darkness and emerged victorious, forever changing what it meant to be human in a vast and wondrous galaxy. And somewhere in the depths of space, the Guardians watched with pride as the younger races took their first steps into a brighter, more united future. The cowards of the cosmos had become its greatest heroes, and the galaxy would never be the same again.